What's going on? Welcome to the 2021 edition of the Off the Schneid preview series, where I'll be going over all 32 NFL teams, breaking down their roster, schedule, giving you a record prediction, as well as helping out with some betting tips. If this is your first time on the channel, hit that subscribe button, and if you like what you hear, go ahead and smash that like button as well. Don't forget to check the description for links for the Off the Schneid social media and interact with me directly. I want to give a massive shout out to OurLads Scouting Services and OurLads.com, as all roster and depth chart graphics are straight off their site. If you've never been, go check them out immediately. I use their site for all NFL, fantasy, and betting purposes, and there's a link in the description for their site. Again, do me a huge favor and hit that like and subscribe button, but enough of that, let's get to your favorite NFL football preview. Taking a look at the Green Bay Packers, we will start at the quarterback position like we always do. Aaron Rodgers is the talk of the league right now. Obviously, there's some issues going on here. I feel like, honestly, it's a strange situation. I really think it's just a strange situation because Aaron Rodgers technically has 3 more years left on his deal. Technically. Realistically, they could trade him right now and save $16 million against the cap. Is that going to happen? No, it absolutely should not, and I do not think it will happen. That would be extremely silly, in my opinion. After this season, they can release him for about $22 million in savings, roughly, a dead cap of $17.2 million. Post June 1st, which I wouldn't expect a trade to happen, before that. Realistically, if they did trade him after this season, it would be before the draft. And I mean, you'd eat that extra, whatever it is, $3 million roughly. You'd eat that to get some sort of draft capital back in a trade for Aaron Rodgers. I have no idea what's going to happen here. Like, realistically, the most likely scenario is he plays for the Packers this year. And then who knows? Like, honestly, they're going to have to play it by ear. Like, I really do not know. There's other situations in the league where I could give more of an opinion on, but this one just, I don't know. It's very convoluted. Aaron Rodgers sat for 3 years. When he was drafted, he sat for 3 full seasons. It's only been 1 for Jordan Love. He can sit. He's gonna sit this year regardless. Not only is he not ready to play, and they brought in Blake Bortles to potentially be the backup. But he could potentially sit 1 more full season, and then he's right on par with where Aaron Rodgers was in his career. So, but is Aaron Rodgers going to want to do that? Like, he's sitting there, I'm the MVP of the league. I just had a career season, and it wasn't my fault that we didn't go to the Super Bowl. I'm sure Packers fans know what I'm talking about. It wasn't my fault. I'm doing everything I can do to help this team win. You aren't. Brian Gutekunst, you are not doing everything you can to win this team a championship. I don't think, and I think there's a lot of Packers fans that would probably agree with me. I don't know. Let me know what you think in the comments there. So I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen here. I do know that Aaron Rodgers is going to be a Packer this year. I think it would be extremely stupid to do anything but have him be the starter for this team this year. And you're right now you hold the cards. Like, you hold a lot of cards, and actually the rest, for the rest of his contract, they realistically do too. But if he's not happy, then what are you going to do? You got to do something there. So I don't know. Let me know what you think in the comments. What's going to happen with Aaron Rodgers? I suspect he plays for the Packers this season and is gone next season. I don't know how that's going to look, whether it's a trade or a release. I'm really not sure. Most of these veteran quarterbacks, the team usually does right by the quarterback, and they release them and they move on. Brett Favre, Peyton Manning, Tom Brady. You see what I'm getting at here. So is that what's going to happen? Probably, but I think that there will be a lot of teams calling the Packers about a trade. So I don't know. Let me know what you think in the comments there. But as far as I'm projecting, and as far as this conversation goes, for the most part, about this team breakdown, I'm including Aaron Rodgers on this team. So there you go. There's my little tidbit about Aaron Rodgers. Jordan Love and Blake Bortles are the backups. I'm not sure who's going to be the backup. It's a really bad look if Jordan Love is not the backup quarterback. week in and week out. He has to be dressed and potentially ready to play if need be. If not, then that's a really bad look, in my opinion. So there you go. There's the quarterback situation. Let's move to running back. They lost Jamal Williams, but they're still in a great spot, in my opinion. Aaron Jones is a very, very good dual threat running back. And then you got a little bit of thunder and lightning with AJ Dillon, who I'm just a massive, massive, massive fan of AJ Dillon. I really wanted him to go somewhere else as a rookie because I wanted him to have more opportunity. And even now he doesn't particularly have, an extreme amount of opportunity with Aaron Jones there. I do expect that he obviously has a better season this year and contributes more, but he's still going to be the, backup 1A, 1B, type of guy. I do actually think that the Packers might run the ball a little more this year, a little more kind of between the tackles. They're different runners, so we'll see how it kind of shakes out, and we'll see how they scheme it up, especially with the changes on the offensive line. So we'll move to the offensive line before we go to tight ends. This is a very different offensive line than it has been in recent years. Corey Linsley's gone. Brian Balaga's obviously gone. He was gone last year as well. David Bakhtiari tore his ACL towards the end of last year, or I think it was right in the middle sort of thing. I can't remember off the top of my head. Tore his ACL. He's recovering. He will be back this season. But there's a reasonable potential that he starts the season, I wouldn't say on the pup, but there's a reasonable potential that he misses a couple games this year in the early stages of the season type of thing. I think that they got a good young group of guys here. I actually do like what they have going on. Royce Newman, they brought in the 4th round. I believe he played left tackle at the Senior Bowl and looked good. Josh Myers, center guard, and I'll get to that in a second, but Josh Myers comes in the 2nd round center guard type guy. Cole Van Lanen, local guy, I believe, can't remember his college, but I'm pretty sure he's a local kid. 6th round left tackle, he played in college. So realistically, if Bakhtiari misses a game or two, you got Nijman. I'm probably killing that name, but I don't really particularly know who he is. I know he's been the backup there for a couple of years. Cole Van Lanen played left tackle. Royce Newman, like I said, played left tackle in the Senior Bowl, so he can chip away there. So one of those 3 guys will have to fill in for a game or two if Bakhtiari misses games. I'm not sure how that happens. Right tackle, again, Royce Newman probably can be your swing guy, hopefully. And then Billy Turner's still there as well. Now, the interior of this line is where it gets kind of, I don't think that the way OurLads has it here is, maybe not going to be the way that it looks in the season. And I do think they have a good group of young guys here. They got John Runyon. Jenkins is there. I'm not sure if he's going to play center or if Josh Myers is going to slide right in and play that center spot. Jake Hansen as well, 6th round pick last year. Patrick Lucas, you got all these guys, and Van Lanen might move to left guard. So Stepaniak, you got all these guys, and they're all good looking kids that are all going to progress and be the future of this interior line. And I think they got the pieces here. It's just you got to let the guys play preseason, find out who's your best 5, or I guess best 3 in the interior, and roll with that. I'm not really sure how it's going to look when the season starts. I think Josh Myers and Jenkins are probably going to be starters somewhere. And then, is it Lucas Patrick? Is it John Runyon? Is it Simon Stepaniak? Do you got Cole Van Lanen in there? Jake Hansen? I don't know. We'll see. Let them play, figure out who's best, and then put your best 5 guys out there on a week in, week out basis. Move to the tight end spot now. Bob Tunyon's there, who just kind of, here's the thing, like Robert Tonyan basically came out of nowhere last year. They weren't expecting him to be the threat and the target that he is. And he is, which is fantastic. So what I've been saying a lot about the Packers is, everybody's screaming for them to get more weapons. Let's get more weapons for Aaron. Let's get more weapons for Aaron Rodgers to throw it, blah, blah, blah. We gotta get more weapons. I think that they've backdoored their way into having more weapons. Like I said, they didn't, basically Robert Tonyan didn't exist in last year until the first week that he kind of blew up, and then every week after he was like, oh wow, we got a guy here, that's awesome. So realistically, and then Alan Lazard I think is a guy as well. Marquez Valdez-Scantling is that field stretcher kind of a guy, just opens up the middle for guys like Devontae and Robert Tonyan, sort of a thing. So they have weapons, they have guys there. Obviously drafting Amari Rodgers helps a ton. What I thought was going to happen for the Packers is Jamison Crowder gets cut by the Jets. Packers sign him. There's their slot receiver. Obviously that didn't happen. And I think they're just as well off with Amari Rodgers personally. A-Rod to A-Rod is kind of sweet too. So realistically, I think that they have the weapons now. I think that they, slowly built these guys, backdoored their way into having some serious weapons. And obviously Devontae is one of the best wide receivers in the game. So there you go. There's your offense. I think that there's still tons to like here. And I don't think that there's an extreme need for weapons right now. I really don't. I think that they've gotten there. So we'll see how this year progresses. The thing that concerns me the most is the turnover on the offensive line. Kind of concerns me a little bit, and these guys are young. We'll see what happens there. Bit of a coaching change. Joe Barry takes over as the defensive coordinator for Mike Pettin. I don't expect a ton of change, realistically. I don't really expect a ton of change as far as personnel, and like obviously they're a 3-4 defense. They're a 3-4 defense, and you can't change that. You really can't. And that's fine. They have the pieces to be a very good defense in a 3-4 scheme. We'll start at the line. I really, really like Kenny Clark, first round pick in 2016. Dean Lowry has really become a guy, fourth round pick in 2016. Kingsley Keke might be the guy that starts at that other DN spot. He was third on the team in sacks last year. And I think that he's probably going to be that guy. So that over Tyler Lancaster, in my opinion. I think this is the year that Rashawn Gary really takes that step. This is his third season. He's going into his third season. He's only 23 years old. He took a pretty good step last year. 5 sacks, I believe, second on the team, I believe. And I think that this is the year that he really takes that step. The Smith brothers, obviously I know they're not brothers, but Preston Smith was down from 12 sacks down to 4. Let's say he falls, roughly somewhere in the middle. He's still only 28 years old, but let's say he falls at 6 to 8 sacks. Totally fine, as long as Rashawn Gary takes that step. This defense did have a top 10 year in sacks getting after the quarterback, which is mostly Zadarius Smith, obviously 12.5 sacks, and he's still very, very good. But realistically, they are fantastic as far as that is concerned, in my opinion, as long as, and I expect him to, Rashawn Gary takes that step forward. Linebackers are in a bit of a tough spot, but the signing of Devondre Campbell was very, very good and very underrated, in my opinion. I don't believe he's missed a game in his career, or maybe it was since his rookie year, something like that. But either way, that was an extremely underrated signing. He's not an outside linebacker. He's not a pass rusher. He's going to play inside linebacker, and they got a bunch of good pieces. I fully expect Campbell to be a starter. And then, is it Martin? Is it Burks? Is it Summers? Is it Isaiah McDuffie, who they drafted in the 6th round, who I think is a very good linebacker there? Is it Barnes? Hard to say, but they got a lot of options there. And realistically, just let the best guy play. Let whoever wins the battle at camp, because it's going to be pretty big battle at inside linebacker, in my opinion. There's all those guys can have a shot. But I do think that Devondre Campbell is going to be one of those guys. Moving to the back end, safeties are in a fantastic spot. I'm a huge fan of Darnell Savage. I really like Adrian Amos. Darnell Savage was a first round pick for them a couple years ago. So I really, really like what they have going on at safety. There's really no issues there whatsoever. Corners are in a good spot. Jair Alexander's very, very good. Josh Jackson was a 2nd round pick a bunch of years ago. He's kind of just become like a depth guy. And then Chandon Sullivan, very good in the nickel. Eric Stokes was obviously their first round pick this year, which I think is a very good pick because I just think that Kevin King is now a depth guy. I don't think that he's, a guy that you really want to lean on and trust week to week. I think Stokes is going to, if not week one, I think he's going to end up taking over that second corner spot, and then Sullivan in the nickel. But then you got a guy like Kevin King, who's just a good vet, been around a long time, big body guy who can still get the job done. So realistically, this core of corners is in a good spot. It's in a very good spot. Realistically, I think their only real weakness is going to be against the run, given their linebacker somewhat weakness. But I think against the pass, these linebackers are good, especially Campbell. I don't think that that's an extreme weakness. I'm not extremely concerned about them getting run up and down on. But if there is a weakness on this defense, I think it's going to be in the run game. But we'll see. So there you go. There's your roster breakdown. Let's move over and see what I projected for their record in 2021. All right, there you go. If you watched the Minnesota Vikings episode, you know that I projected the exact same thing for them. I think that I'm not necessarily going to say it's a toss-up. I do still think that the Packers are the favorites and should be the favorites. Obviously, they won the division last year and the year before. 1.61 on your money for the Packers and 4-1 on your money for the Vikings. I do think that this is like 100% a two-headed race in this division. I do not think that the Bears, and definitely not the Lions, have a shot at winning this division. But I do think that they should be a lot closer. Which is why I'm leaning towards betting the Vikings. That's kind of just where I'm at with it. And again, like I said, I projected the same record. Not that I think that that's 1,000,000% going to happen. Obviously, I don't. It's not extremely likely that that's what happens. But we'll see. I do think that the Vikings are a better team this year, a much better team. I think that the Packers are more or less the same. My concern is just on that offensive line. And then how upset is Aaron Rodgers going to be, and is that going to affect his play? I mean, likely it doesn't. Likely it motivates him like it did last year. People are going to say they drafted Jordan Love in the first round. He goes out, wins the MVP. I get it. And you could say the same thing this year. I'm not going to say that you're wrong. That's for sure. I just don't know. There's too many question marks surrounding this whole organization right now for me. So when I'm getting that good of a number on the Vikings, I'm probably going to take it, but we will see. I haven't made a bet yet. Kickoff week 1 on the road against New Orleans. I mean, week 1 on the road, that's a tough game. I think that if this were in Lambeau, they would absolutely beat the Saints, but week 1, fans in the stands in that stadium, I don't know. That's a toss-up game, low, high, my. And it's going to be a very, very tough game, in my opinion. One that I think that the Packers should win because I think that they're a better team overall. I think that either way, I think the Packers make the playoffs. And I don't particularly think that the Saints do. So it's a game that the Packers should win. That's a tough game to open the season. It really is. It's really not an easy game at all. The next week at home against the Lions, that is a cakewalk compared to the game against the Saints. If I'm being honest, I absolutely think they smashed the Lions there. Then week 3, they go on the road against San Francisco, another tough team, another tough game. That's not an easy stretch to start the season. It does soften up starting the week after that against Pittsburgh at home. I think they absolutely beat the Pittsburgh Steelers at home. On the road against my Bengals, I think they beat the Bengals. Sorry, my team's going to lose even at home. This Packers team is just much, much better. So it is what it is. If the Bengals get that win, then I'm cheering in the streets, but I absolutely do not expect it. On the road against Chicago, realistically, I expect the Green Bay Packers to sweep both of the Bears and the Lions this year, and probably home and home split with the Vikings. So They get that win against Chicago. I think they're just superior team. I fully expect, especially by week 6, for Justin Fields to be the starter there. Rookie quarterbacks, it's going to be a tough one for him to get going, especially against this good defense, even at home. At home against the Washington football team, that is a tough game. One that I absolutely think that they can win, especially because it is at home. But that defense is very, very, very good. So as long as that defense can hold up against this Packer offense, which I think they could, that could be a fringe game. I mean, it's, again, a game that they not have to win, but a game that they should win if they want to go where they want to go, type of thing. But that's similar conversation for the football team, but it is in Lambeau. So there you go. On the road against the Arizona Cardinals, short week, that's a tough game. I think it's a game that they can absolutely win because the Cards are going to be bad against the pass, in my opinion. They're going to be very, very stout against the run, but they're going to be pretty bad against the pass. So I think that Aaron Rodgers can pick them apart and maybe get a win there. It's just a short week on the road. That's a tough game. On the road against the Chiefs win that game. Sorry, Chiefs are awesome. They're the best team in football, in my opinion, and they're going to get that win against the Packers. At home against Seattle, very, very good game for them. Very tough game. Seattle's a good team, but from what I can recall off the top of my head, the Packers seem to get the best of the Seahawks usually, especially in Lambeau. So one that I think that they should get the win there. They really should. And, a lot of these games, it's weird. Like, their schedule is not that easy. It's really not that easy. And a lot of these games are against teams that they're in similar positions as the Packers. They're all in, like, the football team, the Seahawks, even the Arizona Cardinals, 49ers, Saints. They're all in similar positions, right? So who's going to end up being the better team? Like, it's kind of an any given Sunday situation where, the best team should win, but they won't always. You know what I mean? And the Packers might be the best team out of all of those teams, but are they going to win all of those games? I just don't expect that to happen. On the road against Minnesota Vikings, I'm going to take the easy route and give them home split so they lose that game. At home against the Rams, another team, very much another team that's very much like the Packers. And one that I think that the Rams might be the superior team in that conversation, actually. But it's in Lambeau, late November, extreme west to pretty much extreme east for the Rams. That's a tough game. Low, high, my. Like, I just think that there's so many fringe games that, there's a very good potential that the Vikings could just steal this division. So we'll see. Bye week 13, I really like that for the Packers. Obviously, I think they're a playoff team regardless. So the later you can have your bye week, in my opinion, I think is a great thing, especially for a veteran team. There's not, a lot of rookie guys that are going to have to catch their breath, just coming into the league, sort of a thing. Week 14 against Chicago Bears, they get that win. On the road against the Baltimore Ravens, I think the Ravens get that win against the Packers. I think that they could, especially at home. On the road, I think the Ravens get that win. At home against the Browns, I think the Browns are just the better team. Same thing with the Ravens, sorry. I think that those two teams, those two AFC North teams are just better teams, if I'm being honest, than the Packers. And I think they get those wins. Even in Lambeau, I think the Browns come in and get that win. At home against the Vikings, split, they get that win. Week 18, at home against the Detroit Lions, they absolutely get that win. So it's going to be a really interesting season for Packers fans, I believe. Obviously, with this whole Aaron Rodgers situation going on, but there's just so many fringe games here against so many fringe teams. And, like I said, in theory, on paper, the best team should win. That's not going to happen every single week. So, they got a tough schedule. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Let me know what you think in the comments. I'm sure I'm probably going to get some hate, I think, from Packers fans. It is what it is. Let me know what you think in the comments. But there's your breakdown for the 2021 Green Bay Packers.